We begin with breaking news tonight. We are expecting an update any minute now from Hampton police on the disappearance of a 2-year-old boy. They've been searching for Noah Tomlin since Monday morning. And now that news conference has just begun, let's go live.
Supervisory agent of the FBI Norfolk Division, Ted Rose, the commander of the operations phase in the search for Noah Tomlin, Captain Christopher Thornton, and the chief of the Hampton Police Division, Chief Terry Sult. This evening, Chief Sult will provide an update in the search for Noah Tomlin.
Good evening, and thank you for being here on such short notice. Tonight, our hearts and prayers continue to go out to the loved ones of Noah Tomlin and for Noah Tomlin. On Monday, June 24th, at approximately 11:36 a.m., the Hampton Police Division was notified by Julia Tomlin that her 2-year-old son Noah was missing. This began a very intensive investigation conducted by the Hampton Police Division, other local, state, and federal partners. Much of this you have witnessed throughout the week. What you have not witnessed is the intensive investigation going on behind the scenes. This continues to be a two-pronged process on both the search and investigative efforts, but tonight we are announcing an arrest related to the disappearance of Noah Tomlin. We are arresting Julia Lena Tomlin, 34-year-old Hampton woman, the mother of Noah, in connection with his disappearance. Charges are pending. Unfortunately, to date, Noah has not been found. Based on the highly coordinated investigation, we believe him to be deceased. This leaves us a little bit speechless, but the search for Noah continues. We'll never give up hope. The Hampton Police Division, along with the Hampton Fire Department and our agency partners, are intensifying our search efforts to find Noah with a more specific focus starting now. As the investigation is ongoing and in a very critical stage at this moment, there's very little information that we can share in addition to what I'm providing. We ask that everyone keep Noah and those that love him in your hearts and your thoughts as our officers and agents continue their tireless efforts to find them. I also ask that you consider the efforts that these officers and agents and firefighters have been through this week. It's been intense heat. It's been long hours, and every single one of them have been dedicated to this mission. I can tell you that I've been in this business 45 years, and I could not be prouder to be associated with the men and women who carry a badge, whether it's a firefighter, police officer, or federal agent. They have done a remarkable job, and there's still a lot to do. We'll take a couple of questions.
Can you say what leads you to believe that Noah is deceased?
I can tell you that investigation has led us to that conclusion. I cannot go into investigative details at this point.
Can you tell us more about the mother, Julia Tomlin? Obviously, she's been talking with you guys all week, and then you finally came to the arrest. Was it her? Did she admit to something, or was it just old-fashioned police work, or was there evidence? What led you to the arrest? I
can tell you that it's old-fashioned police work, and it's the efforts of the Bureau, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Behavioral Science Unit, all of these partnerships coming together to put these pieces together. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to talk about the individual parts of the case.
Can you tell us what she's charged with?
Those charges are pending.
Where
and
is she right now?
She is in the police station.
Here in Hampton?
Yes, ma'am. She's right inside.
Did she have anything to say whenever you guys took her into custody?
I'm not going to go into anything that she may or may not have said.
Chief, what has been the most difficult part about this really case that's touching so many people in the community?
You know, I've been tracking social media, and part of the investigation we're tracking social media, and there's so many people that are hurt by this. You know, when you look at Noah, when you look at the victims, any youth victim, we've seen this before, our hearts go out. Everybody bleeds. I mean, it's like there are people out there in the community who would be willing to take care of a child and make sure something like this doesn't happen. but at the end of the day, it affects the police officers and the first responders as well. It's the emotion in their face through all the dirt, the filth, the tiredness, you know, from searching landfills and all the other stuff. The investigations that go on 24 hours a day, the fatigue that can set in, but nobody wants to drop it. They just want to continue to go. They want to push it. They want to get to the conclusion. They want to find Noah. And, you know, we all pray that we still find him safe, but that's just not the way it's pointing at this moment.
Do you anticipate charges against anyone else, or is that part of the investigation, do you think?
As I said, the investigation is continuing. We're not excluding anything.
So just to recap, Julia is in custody. His mother, she's here at Hampton Police Headquarters. Charges are pending. Is there anything else that we need to know that you said we believe that Noah is deceased?
I'll trade places at the podium with you. You just summed it up very nicely.
Trying to get the information.
I got you.
What about her other children? What's happening with the other kids?
Her other children are being taken care of. We have Child Protective Services involved, and we're making sure that they are safe. Some are with family members and have been for some time. At the end of the day, that is one of our #1 priorities, to make sure they're okay.
Do you anticipate the search expanding beyond, say, the landfill, or is that still your focus? Do you have
We'll have more information for you tomorrow. I can tell you that we're moving into a 24-hour a day operation phase, because it is going to focus, and that focus will begin in the morning.
And that 24 hours, I know obviously I would think that means that's going to continue 24 hours a day, but could you explain to people what that means?
Well, it just basically means that the area that we will be focused on, we're not as restricted by EPA regulations, lighting conditions, and that sort of thing. We may be able to conduct operations around the clock where we're limited by daylight now.
Do you have a better sense of his general location after talking with the mother, or are you still?
We're not going to go into that. We will be glad to update folks tomorrow on in the media on that tomorrow.
Helping with the search?
I'm not going to talk about what she is or is not doing at this time. At this point, I'm going to have to shut the conference off.
When do you anticipate charges being filed? Tomorrow, you think?
I assume that the initial charges will be filed sometime this evening. And that'll be all.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
You've been listening to a news conference with Hampton Police. You just heard from Chief Terry Salt, who delivered news that, of course, we did not want to hear tonight. 34-year-old Julia Tomlin, the mother of 2-year-old Noah Tomlin, has been arrested and charged in connection with that boy's disappearance. He has been missing since Monday, and Chief Salt also went on to say that police do believe at this point that Noah is deceased, but they have not found Noah at this point, and they said that they are not giving up hope in this case to find him, but they will continue to search, a two-pronged approach in the investigation, the criminal investigation, and in the search for Noah Tomlin. And we have Gina Arevalo, who is covering that news conference. You heard her asking questions there throughout, and we'd like to bring her in now and get her impressions on this news conference. It was scheduled for 4 o'clock. It took place at 11. Gina, what else can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, Tom, as you mentioned, we had been waiting all afternoon to get this update. We had assumed that something was going to be told because we were called out there at 4 o'clock, but then it was delayed. We'd been waiting several hours, and then finally they notified us of this press conference. As you mentioned, the biggest details that came out of this press conference tonight is that the mother of Noah Tomlin, 34-year-old Julia Tomlin, has been taken into custody. We're told that charges are pending right now, and they expect those to be filed at some point overnight. She is in custody here at Hampton Police Headquarters. Police Chief Terry Salt would not comment too much on the investigation, saying it's a very intensive investigation. Still a lot of unanswered questions, but at this point, like you said, the one thing that nobody wanted to hear was that they do not believe that Noah is alive. He did say that they are planning on moving the search at the landfill to a 24-hour operation phase, so it sounds like their focus is going to continue there through the weekend. Now, we have learned that Julia Tomlin has other children. We're told those children have been moved into CPS custody, some of them. Others are with family members. Now, again, this has just been a long week for investigators. This all started on Monday when he was first reported missing. It's not clear if Monday was actually the last time that Noah was seen or if that's when he was first reported missing. So those are all details that are going to be coming out in this investigation as we get them. Police tell us that they've just been working so hard around the clock, and this hurts them a lot just because this is not the outcome that anybody wanted to hear following these 5 days of searching. So again, for anybody who is just now tuning in, the details that came out of this press conference are that 34-year-old Julia Tomlin has been arrested in connection to the disappearance of her son Noah Tomlin, 2 years old. He was first reported missing on Monday. Police say they do not believe he is alive at this time. That's the details that we have for you right now. Be sure to stay with WAVY News as we continue to follow this developing story for you. Tom, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Gina Arevalo, reporting live from Hampton. A lot of heavy hearts tonight throughout Hampton roads. We'll be right back.